Good. I'm not very good at this. Okay, what we're going to do is graft queens. And the object is to take one of these little larvae out of the cell and put it into one of these things right here. Okay? I drew this up here because it tells us a couple things. You'll see this thing, they're curved in the bottom like this. Okay, and you can tell how old they are by how big this is. Okay? And you want the youngest ones you can get, and you want them to have royal jelly in there, a lot of royal jelly. Okay? Anything more than halfway around is too big. Okay? So you just kind of look down in there and you'll see them down in there, and you'll be looking down there. And the next thing we're going to do is put the tool down the side here, and it will bend underneath by itself. You just push it down the side and it'll bend underneath, and you can pull it out. Okay? And then
I've seen that before.
And how much practice does that take?
a little bit.
A little bit practice? How many do you destroy first?
First time I did it, I got about half of them. Really? I mean, it's not that hard. You got this thing and it's really flexible, okay, on the tip, and I've been soaking it in water there for a while. The guy taught me how to do it, so you just stick them in your mouth. That's how I learned to do it. It works pretty good. I'm not going to do that here probably, unless
Worked
I
great for the
forget.
radium girls.
What was that?
It worked great for the radium girls. Made the brushes nice and pointy.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, but if you look at this thing, you'll see it's got this flexible piece here, and it's got this white piece here. The idea is to push that flexible piece right down the edge of the cell, right down here, until it bends underneath that thing. Okay, and then when you pick it up, you stick it in the bottom of one of these and you just push that down, and you see that white thing, push it off the end. Okay, I'm gonna put it about as close to the middle as you can get. But the trick is to be really careful, because there's several things that can go wrong. Push it out too far, you can smash the thing. If you flip it over when you drop it in, it'll asphyxiate. Okay? So you want to just kind of careful to stick it down in there and squeeze it off. And it takes a whole lot longer to explain it than it does to actually do it. Okay?
Did you say that was a Chinese version?
They call these Chinese grafting tools.
Yeah, they might
Okay.
have renamed that now. Just
Might have, I don't know. But if you get
Does
one,
that
it's
cost
probably
extra?
coming from China.
yeah. Well, not even that. I feel like they did that a couple years ago
Yeah.
already. Just
Okay. They have different kinds. The German grafting tool looks like a little dental pick. Okay. It's just bent on the end, and you just reach down there and scoop it out with that. And then you got to kind of unscoop it. They don't look as easy to me. Some people, I mean, it's a religious war. This is the one you're supposed to use, whatever, I don't care. This is one I learned how to use, and it works. I'm sure if you learn the other one, it'll work too. But I have several of them here. The other thing is, if you look at these things, when you buy them,
buy multiples.
yeah, buy a bunch, okay, and then look at them, okay, because if you look at this thing, it has this piece like this plastic, right, goes up in the handle, okay, then it's got this curved piece right here, right. Shake, okay, like that, right? If you look at them closely, what you'll find is a lot of times there's a lot of space here, and sometimes you can't get it lined up enough that it'll push it off. Okay. The other thing I learned not too long ago is that if you pull this out and sand it a little bit, yeah, pass one around or three. Yeah. Yeah. If you pull that out and sand it until it's really thin, it gets really, really flexible, because these are highly variable in how flexible they are. And if you get a stiff one, you push it down there and just pops the bottom out, or it won't go underneath. The plastic cells is not a problem, because it's just going to go underneath, probably. But if they're too stiff, they don't work very well. And if this doesn't line up here, it doesn't work very well. Okay? So I went through the whole box I had. I had about 20 of them, and I ended up with about 15 of them that you could actually use properly. Okay?
And it
Cheap
never
for a
sticks
reason.
to that white part when you go to release it. It's not gonna
stick to that.
I've never had a problem with that. I mean,
As long as it's
it
wet.
could maybe. What was that?
As long as it's wet, I suppose.
Well, you do have the Royal Jelly. It has a
Yeah.
little bit of tackiness to it too.
Yeah,
It should be sticking the larva to the base.
yeah. But you're just gonna stick it down the bottom there, and maybe bend it a little bit, and then slide it off very carefully. Okay. Now I have a bunch of brood here. I put a wet towel over it so it wouldn't dry out. Okay. And I've got some headlamps because you can't see in there. Go ahead, yeah, just drop them in there. And I'll get a chair over here and I'll do a couple. You guys can watch and then you can sit here and do some. Okay.
Then after that,
Then we'll take them outside and see if they make queens. I have the box outside. You can come outside and see it if you want. I showed it the other last week or last month, excuse me. But this has got to be one of the most beautiful combs I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What do you think? Stole it out of one of his Golden West hives. Okay.
We know how to raise bees.
Yeah, but
Fly in the trees.
it's pretty.
Everything else.
Okay. The black is pretty good. How come this is?
we can send our papers.
Yeah. You can look at it here. Okay. But if you look at this, what you'll see is you got cat brood, you've got fat brood here, and the farther away you'll get clear down to here, you'll see eggs. Okay. But around out here, there's kind of a ring that's got like the half curled brood. Okay. So I'm gonna grab a big one, just because it's easier to see. Okay, all the way out to here is little tiny ones. You want to look close. Okay, where's a? I don't want to get one that's too big. Okay.
Don't drink coffee.
Okay, can you see that? Okay.
Sure.
I can see it from here. You can see if we got it in one piece. But
Yeah.
Future queen.
Yeah. Okay. It's drying out fast though.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm just gonna drop it in here. Like that. Okay. Look in there, you can see it. I don't know, maybe that's pretty small. Okay. It's too low for me. They're in here in all different orientations. The key is to get down the side of the cell. And there they are. Okay, who wants to start?
You do.
Okay. Here's a light,
Let's see that.
and I can hold it for you like this.
And you said they got to be less than halfway around,
Around
right?
halfway around, yeah. You can maybe get away with a little more.
You can get the glasses that
that's a older frame for it better.
Just shine it down.
Yeah,
there.
right straight. Like the orientation's weird.
for like
Yeah, but go straight down the side and underneath
this,
it.
looking at their knitting. I think they're breeding. So like if you're like
I'm gonna
inside, you
smash
can
it
just
on the floor.
look like this.
Shit. I broke the cell. All right.
It's okay. Stick it in there. The third one over, yeah.
Just remember which
Okay.
one you did.
All right.
That looks good. Yeah.
2 days and see
Do another one?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try
We
not
got
to break
30.
the cell.
There's plenty of people. Doesn't matter.
And I assume wet after each or before each.
It doesn't hurt, yeah.
Oops.
Oops, I'm sorry.
The glasses where you can just look ahead. Like there's like a mirror. in
Probably a
them or something
magnifying glass wouldn't hurt one of those big.
for like knitting and stuff.
Oh,
So you're not like this.
Last last couple of mornings, that's how my neck has been waking up in the mornings.
Just smash it, just rinse it off and try again.
Queens.
I'm moving
And
it,
get those
but not.
glasses.
So those should all have the royal jelly in it,
Yeah.
because they all have royal jelly towel. How many days?
Well, that'll really be the next step is putting them into the queenless hive or the cell builder. They have been queenless for over 24 hours, and they will take whatever you give them and try to make a queen out of it. So they have no brood. They
Is
are
that
just
three live?
waiting
Four,
for
four.
anything
That one.
to try to salvage, the situation.
Okay.
So then you're giving them genetics that you want, and then that cell builder will draw them out.
Okay.
It's a little stand up. Is that okay? Oh,
Okay.
All the
Sorry, just a second, here.
This first 3 by 8.
Yeah.
Make sure.
Yeah, so they already have some.
initials.
Put your initials on those two.
Okay. 3 and 4.
The day they hatch.
It did hatch, yeah. I brought Craig's ski box back in your top.
Okay.
So just see what the other ones
Oh,
Want that? You want me to hold it for you?
No, I gotta be adjusting my eyes.
You can adjust the angle on it, or you can make it wide
Actually, mine
angle
isn't
too.
bad.
Oh, loop would be great.
Let's see what we got.
You should do it.
About halfway
around,
huh? Yeah.
I don't think I have an interest in doing that
In
right
the
now.
last 2 days, at least 2. Watch it coming out.
See, this is the stuff that I was
Yeah.
It's so mystical and cool. I mean,
Yeah, actually, I got part of it. Probably mess it up.
Somebody's got a hold of while you do it.
I wanna try it.
Yeah.
There,
On
that's,
the pole, there wouldn't
yeah,
take
that's
much
kind of
more.
our best.
I'm just like, I went over there this morning and I looked at that and I'm like, see if they're still there anymore.
Oh, don't push it
Oh,
down.
there.
Don't push it down. Just
Those are some nice ones.
just let that stick out.
Stick
That-
out?
That's where
Okay.
you're trying to slide underneath.
When he was out yesterday looking at making a cell builder.
Just
he wanted
push
to
it
go
down to
bunch
the
of
bottom
stuff
till
for
it
me.
curls underneath.
A couple of the nukes, and about 3 of the nukes needed queens yet, and the rest of them all need a bigger box.
I had one of them that didn't lay, like while we were transporting them anymore, but all the other ones.
Yeah. Well, and if I had a Q plus on it, I spotted the queen, and at least on one of the frames saw eggs, but most of them looked really good.
That one I got, I think, didn't I?
Yeah. So this
We're
one.
getting so many calls for nukes right now that, matter of fact, I don't even have enough for all the colonies yet.
Yes, okay.
Was it?
I
Yep,
had a
I
guy
did.
call me the other day going,
Oh,
I only want 60, I'm up to
No,
120.
it's not in there.
No,
Oh, shut
ah, there it is.
I said, well, how bad do you want to get rid of them? What's the price tag on it?
Just push it. Yeah.
So, we'll
There
see.
you go.
Let me talk to my buddy about it, because he's helping me.
Nope.
You can always use more nukes, there's, we had a guy call yesterday asking for 10.
What do you got?
I haven't advertised,
Yeah, there was someone on the,
probably 35, 40. Yeah, and not trying to. Part of it was upgrading them from packages because we were short.
I was afraid I'm gonna save money on it.
Really, the thing is that
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
put them-
If you have buyers for them.
no way.
can't keep them alive forever.
I had no idea how that would work other than
Yeah.
pulling out.
Did you start all your plants up?
Should just land on the tip. There you go.
I got a greenhouse that's up there. I got
Hmm.
fish out here.
Try this.
But I
Change the angle a little bit.
I thought I would scrape it off. But some.
Drunken
Okay.
Sailor.
There we go.
I don't know what's it is about that foundation. They're just.
Is it different from the others?
No, those are the same houses.
Imagine how lost they feel.
So I'm gonna get it out. something to use. Cause it's a waste of
Okay.
money.
How'd you like those?
A waste of that building,
Right,
cause you knock it down.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah, I scraped the wax off.
So now, when you said you wax them, do you, I mean, was it dip it or paint it or what?
Yeah, I took
Do you know where the nucleotology?
This one.
I found out those wax
It's
melters.
a line past that on the left.
I took one of their melters and I put wax and put it in there and I melted it.
No, we
And
went
I
to
just took a cheap.
Love, what's the name of the store that was just?
Harvest something, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That's opposite way. You gotta go
Okay,
across the highway from that,
And I only did that.
2 miles down on the left.
okay, we'll try that.
When they came with stock
Showed
wax,
up.
right?
Jody was in town just before our scrapping. I think the one should be some change.
Fun.
David
Next
was
up.
trying to tell me something when we got
Reset
pulled
it.
in.
and they didn't.
And she
Did you
finally
pass,
told me
Paul?
about it over the
Or you
weekend.
failed
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. in 2 weeks.
Down a while.
I did a lot of recaps.
Somebody else?
They were
Brian,
told to go there.
hold this
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, right, yeah.
you gotta do a bunch of them before it gets easy. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like it's the DNA of the original.
Is that a good angle?
Jeannie, I'm gonna zoom in on you, so you better be good.
All the lights on the dash are coming on, this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, well, it's not an ABS sensor, you know, so I ordered a new one.
There's
No,
the rain.
the lift tubes, I had to tear the
Yeah, I'm
bolt.
gonna get stung again putting this in that
She
hive.
didn't have it today. So for the last 4 days, we had the.
There you go.
It fell off.
Oh. Just push it straight down and it'll slide underneath it by itself. There you go. This one.
Last year I did.
That's partly why I'm having to put initials on there. I can tell where they are. I can't see that far.
We had it done when I bought it out in
That one
California.
just is the perfect size. And I was like,
Still see it on the tip, I think.
No,
It's down there.
oh, you're right. You're right, it was there.
Okay.
So
this one?
I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yep,
and I
it's
don't
there.
know if I would ever have a big
You can do
enough
another one.
pile of wax to see it.
Come on.
you can get like.
Gotta have 2 at least. You see them?
Yeah, I probably have a bunch of times that happens, but wouldn't the roller eat most of it?
It doesn't really.
On the other hand, it's not absorbent, you
But
just
it-
let it
Once you get it warm
dry
again.
and squeeze it and break it off.
And that foam one will work pretty slick, cause there's not a big hollow space like those other ones.
That one.
So all those sweets I brought home are gone. And you got 600
But yeah,
more
I
this
do
week.
all
Fluffy
mediums, so
stuff
that's
around
just like a.
Great.
Not a lot of royal jelly on there, nothing.
I'll take what we can get.
Already up to 16. I got another 100 coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't have any of the.
I'm out of
I don't have any
Buckfast until Memorial Day.
Is it light?
They said the next
Yes.
chance I can is Buckfast.
Next.
Yes, it's possible.
Hold her steady.
It's wonderful. It's possible.
Don't know if I can.
Wish you wanna wear it.
Oh, no, I can see them.
Okay, you can see them,
Got
alright.
young eyes.
Last year I had 3 ounces super before I did this.
And that's actually the second time this week.
Okay.
And then tomorrow I'm
Do you
getting
use
the
the
third
Phoenix
box.
Food?
I'm just picking
For
out a
the
good
super,
one.
yeah.
Okay.
But then.
Smaller the better.
Smaller the better.
Like freshly hatched?
I was
Yeah.
just about caught up.
Smaller the better.
Okay.
Take each one of those and put it in an individual hive or something.
Yes.
Okay.
They're Buckfast, and then I'm short. I've got about 35
We'll
left.
see how it goes.
Okay. I
My,
got you.
right now, it's time to
See that far?
Yeah.
Okay,
I have 2 hives.
this one?
Yep, that one.
If I get some honey,
You
right
stabbed
what
me
you
through
got
the
from
heart,
those?
like, I probably did.
now we have one to do last one.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I just,
Big ones.
no, but, no. 50%.
Yeah, I thought I was in trouble when, instead of being curled up like this, I kind of writhing around.
And overwintered, the one overwintered the first
Just stick it
winter,
back in there?
Yep.
6%.
And you guys live where?
Eagle River.
Eagle River.
You guys
Okay.
better be queens.
That'd be cool, huh?
So,
Okay.
what, maybe we're like
Somebody
2
else?
days behind here?
Just take over this thing.
16
Yeah,
hours. And then, I mean,
I don't realize
4
everything,
in
so,
sugar.
of course of being an engineer.
Don Pratt?
There's no such thing as a curse of being an engineer.
Yeah, I figured if you're between one and the other, you probably get Don's or Peter's. We got our,
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
we got our.
I mean, he's like, he's like
I don't think I could see it small.
knowledge.
Should be your
Yes.
nurse assistant.
Yeah, yeah,
My
he's
dad,
true.
well, my husband.
Are you going?
was
Come on,
born in
chicken.
Oaks. My dad was
You know what you
born in
want.
Oaks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then Nicole and Lisa, in case we can.
Never gonna
See if you could create life.
We gotta fill them all.
This is kind of our Frankenstein
Okay, I'll
moment.
try it.
Yeah.
But everybody just.
You see,
You
ah,
do
right,
that, I can do that.
Yeah.
I do it, you do it. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm teaching you. I'll teach you how to do this.
Once I have the basics.
You been watching the videos?
You're doing well.
No,
You're doing very well.
They stick to the, they
It
stick
all
better
depends.
than what you think.
It's all hearsay, so.
Did you bring your cell builder in?
They stick better on that little
It's
scoop.
out there. Yeah.
Okay.
It's getting rained on right now.
Yeah,
So you want to
Yeah.
get like an ice cream, like scooping out
It's alright,
ice
that won't
cream.
stop
almost
nothing.
like a melon ball, yeah.
Oh,
No, I
okay.
just get stung some more.
Yeah,
Except
my
if the
fair share
melon
today.
baller
That
did all
pressure
the work
change
that
really
they
had them
wanted.
worked up today.
They were pretty pissed when I went out there. Oh man.
That's no shower.
I went out and worked the rest of the colonies this morning before
Yeah. I
UPS
thought that
showed up.
I thought
Got
they
through
were-
the rest of everything else. And
Yeah.
they were like, man, the ones that were like in the back.
Yeah, we're not rattling around.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
Here, put your name on there.
What, even the box?
Who else?
Ryan,
Brian?
Yeah, I just kind of very glasses, so. See if I can see good enough.
Open up the box.
Starting on this one.
Yeah, they settled right down.
They didn't smoke them or anything when we were putting them in. And they were.
You want light?
Oh, yes. That probably would help you a lot.
You want to wear it?
All right, thank you so
I can't do it
much.
without.
No, I'm looking in there. Oh, yeah, it makes a big difference.
You can, yeah.
I didn't know they made plastic ones. Started looking online and it's like, man, I get plastic ones.
Passed that work on the way to bed.
Oh, gosh, that's dumb, yeah, okay, that's right, there are other ways to get food.
You're trying to put it on the back side.
Oh,
Trying to put it
You're putting it on the back side of the quill. Yeah. So you can't scrape it off.
I can't, I put it back. Oh, I see what I did, okay.
No, no,
Yeah,
do this one.
but I won't be able to
No, I can't get it off.
without,
Just rinse it off, get another one.
yeah.
Just rinse it off, get another one.
yes.
And I tell them that they're not
There you go.
or building wax on the bottom of the
Yeah.
wax. This is not. But you can order those.
Have you one on there?
I think it's.
So that's on camera now.
Can't see that far.
Well, that's what we went in with, was
Push it straight down until it bends underneath. No,
Yep.
curious what we have now, because, well, no, we got the queen from her, or from Don.
Yeah.
there you
We
go.
got this queen from Don.
Something's on there.
So
what it is.
Yeah.
This one.
And yeah, when we did this like last year, I didn't have a thing ready, so we had a,
I end up just using
yeah.
Okay.
We had
So you got one in,
triple charge, just touched it.
yeah, put it in there.
Burnt the wire,
Yeah.
got red. But if I went on each end of the wire where the wire starts on the frame,
I can't tell if I have one in, does it look like there's one in that one right there?
Yep.
There is one in there, okay.
Okay, good, they're small. Some of those are kind of big.
No.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty, cool.
It's hard for them to hold that tool too, that crimping tool, just run along the wire.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
It'll squeeze it pretty hard.
Who else?
on there.
I'm not too bad at fucking good.
Somebody else? There we go.
No.
I will pass the torch.
Okay, what do I need to do?
Okay.
Get that wet some?
Yeah. That's just to make it soft. You rinse the dead ones off. Look, push it straight down the edge until it bends underneath by itself.
Okay, like any one of these?
Any one of the really small ones. The smaller the
Okay.
better.
You're looking for a comma.
You're looking for one that's halfway around or
Okay.
less.
Oh, wow.
There's tons of them on there.
Does this go like any particular way? Like the white down?
This side's gonna go underneath like that, so the
Okay.
white can scrape it off.
Okay, so I want the white
Once you leave in there.
towards
pull
me.
them over the way.
Kind
You
of
want
like,
you want the white toward the middle of the cell, and this right on the very edge of the cell.
okay.
So you must be from down south. There's not enough there now. Hopefully you just take out the partial frame and put the
I was thinking the other line as I was holding whatever.
No, I don't like it. Put the wheels together.
And I don't, this is just okay to do.
Yeah. Push it down there until it bends underneath, and then you should be able to pick it out. Pull it straight out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, is it on there?
Your dog's probably.
I
Let's see.
don't, oh, I kind of smushed that.
Get another one there.
He's the biggest baby.
Various.
All of a sudden he's major wuss and he's.
Push it along the side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we're not there, so I can't feed it back. The other
We'll
one's
find
coming
them under the
in
couch.
I don't think it's coming up with me. I don't think I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
Show you that real quick.
It's on the edge
This much cleaner.
of that cell.
It's clearance. But he'll be under.
Then when you
You'll
spin
probably
them
in the
out,
back.
like the honey you spin out,
But
you
yeah.
set the strength, so it's harder to put on the box and then open it.
Oh wow, you did that really fast.
Practice.
We've done it before.
These guys are really good though about as far as
Okay.
being housebroken.
Yeah.
They'll hold it.
And you just put it in there?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Stick it in there and slide it off with that white thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hold this for you.
Oh, okay.
What's
Okay.
smart is
Well,
that does that.
And it's right next to the bedroom, so they're like, if we get in here, we're close to mom and dad.
That might know my ostrich.
You gotta help her.
Oh, okay.
That's not on there.
One on the chair.
Keep going.
Yeah, different options.
Push it down until you see that band.
Yeah, little
But if
concentration
I'm
aid.
outside, he's like,
Really nice sized totes.
until his dog comes along and knocks him
Go
out,
underneath it.
drags him by the back.
No.
And then he's a wuss the other time.
That are.
Nope. Nope. Can't see it. Nothing on there.
No, I'm really bad at this.
It's your first try. You think I did it like that the first time?
It's only for an hour.
All clear.
Yeah, it's only for an hour.
So,
Yeah.
along the edge.
But they sure needed it up in Minnesota because they have all those
There you go.
fires
Is
going.
there something? No, it's on the edge of the
Good
cell.
thing we sold our property
Yeah.
last
No,
year.
it's just gel.
It's right in that area. Yeah, wouldn't got much for it this year.
There we
you
go.
Okay, this one right here.
There.
Do another one?
No, that's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
And this one's on there.
On this one?
Yeah,
Is that where that's?
Initials?
whatever.
Oh, really?
Just so you know it's yours.
Lisa.
Yeah.
Dog is probably really freaking out.
Yeah.
Okay, Nicole.
Who else?
Yeah, here's the Friday. And,
That'd be scary.
It might be like that.
Shake pretty bad.
It is.
That might work with your baby.
Mike.
Right underneath it.
Yeah.
Scotty's group.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm feeling all the ones that I didn't get.
You got that pointed at your nose.
Oh.
There you go.
Now you guys know each other.
I don't.
That's something in common.
I thought that was.
Kill the
Take
babies.
it out. Take it out.
Yeah, you just slide that right down the edge, and it bends itself underneath when you hit the bottom of the cell.
Oh, okay.
You shake some of that water off. There, got it.
So, how long have you worked at the mill?
Over 2 years.
Okay.
Okay, how's the sergeant village?
Hi, Jenny.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well,
I'm just kind of down to years till he retires.
You get the good pension.
Quit dragging me
That's
around
like
everywhere.
We didn't have time to
Right.
get.
You know,
Yeah, you got one. You want to flip it over because you want it on the other side.
Oh, you want it on that side?
Yeah, so rinse it off. Yeah.
I have one packed. I have
You got that one out there just fine. You just can't get it off.
But you got one, that's half the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Texas and several different
Some of
places.
those moves were associated with the same job though,
Yeah,
like different
Wichita,
places.
Arcdale, Wisconsin.
And I love it when he's baffled too.
We lived in two places.
That's all there,
Two
yeah.
places in Iowa.
Right.
In this respect.
No,
No,
no.
in Iowa.
No, because there's so many places.
Legitimate
Cedar River
bafflement.
or Cedar Rapids.
You gotta touch the bottom with it.
Years ago, I worked at Ward Paper. And when Ward closed.
Hope it didn't go on the bottom.
Went to the mill. He went first.
Slide it down.
And
And I gotta put some jelly in it.
Nope, that's all it gets,
I
right
had
there.
my daughter, I did my maternity
I think it flipped over though.
interview.
Finished it.
We'll find out in a few
Here.
days.
It's on here.
Well, he took that job, he had him
Barely right.
Superior,
Gary.
and then one in Maine.
You're not even a
So the Cedar Rapids or
He's a
River,
wannabe.
a bunch
Yeah.
of Ward Paper people,
Get out of here, imposter.
they were just
Okay.
starting it up there, so.
Who else?
Fly, not me, right?
That it?
I think we've been around.
We've got a whole nother bar here and two
Yes, we
there.
need to do it. Always make sure that you have some.
We gotta fill them all up.
So what's the deal with,
Flipped it over by accident, I think.
Yeah.
flipping over, but specifically like, you know,
Good.
if you have a queen cell or whatever, why you cannot invert the frame?
The larvae starts to flop back and forth and
Yeah.
it damages the queen.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Retarded.
don't all.
They're very.
Okay, they'll be royal.
Yeah, they're,
But, I mean,
they're very
don't they-
delicate in there.
Okay.
That's the problem. They're just really delicate. So if
The
you're
queens particularly? I suppose because it's oriented
This-
differently from.
well, and they're much larger, and yeah,
Okay.
when they're building that cell out, though, she's up there in the top, and you got the cell halfway down here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So
like dropping off a two-story building.
yeah, she's not filling out the cell yet.
Okay.
For a while.
So she's not attached to the top of the cell?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean,
Sitting on that pool
just
of
this jelly's holding her up there.
Okay.
Okay.
Kind of like a baby inside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but I mean, there's, you know, 15,000 babies inside there, and none of the rest of them care if you.
Well, when they pupate, they lay long ways on
Right.
the bottom of the
Yeah.
cell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as opposed to the orientation of a queen cell. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you shouldn't be shaking these things around.
Huh.
But on the other
Shake
hand,
'em, but
yeah,
where are you, Your Majesty?
yeah, but they're pretty delicate. So
Okay.
if you want her to live, you just be really careful.
Are you talking about like when you
The more
check
gentle
the
you are, the
frames?
better
Yeah.
the quality.
Like when you
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
check them.
Just
Yeah.
leave them alone, really,
Yeah.
if you can.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, because that's like
That's how you look at.
that's how you look at both sides of the
Yeah.
frame.
yeah,
It's
without like
yeah,
Can you see?
yeah.
Yeah. I can see.
yeah.
Well, okay. I can tell you what problem is here.
Right.
You want to
Yeah.
Yeah.
grab it every tool, you don't like that one.
That's how you do
Yeah.
it.
Look at the side.
Yeah.
Although,
You gotta push
like
it,
it depends, like
push
if you're on
it
the
down
other
till
side
it
of
curls
me,
under.
we'll look at, I'll look
Shake
at this
that
one and
water
we'll
off it first.
bring it down so we can
Sometimes it gets
Yeah, which you're not supposed to do, if you have queen cells.
Oh,
Which
if
might
you
have
have the queen
queen-
cells,
right.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
Oh, maybe. Oh, probably, maybe.
dropped her on her head.
It's there.
I guess so.
She's a pro.
Oh, it's stayed. Oh no.
Get a different one. You stir it, get a different one.
No pressure whatsoever.
Hey Brian, do you have a problem seeing the eggs or,
There's one.
on that
I
yellow?
put one in there already.
Okay.
That's what I was showing her how to do
A
it.
little bit more.
Yeah,
I think it's harder.
a little bit harder.
That's why I like the black
Yeah.
foundation with the nice.
I'm getting where I can't see it all. It doesn't matter.
10 more. That's too far. That's too.
I have both.
There's
I
like-
can do a few of those.
Anybody
Been better
else?
than 15 years.
Go, Chris.
And like, they have the dark.
Chris doing it?
As long as you don't judge.
Do you need me to stop the
Did you see
video?
me put an egg on the backside?
We say you pass if they develop and
You get a queen here? Get the light.
that was mine.
I'll go towards the ones you guys saw.
Smaller the better.
Took off
You done this before,
wings.
haven't
It's been a long time,
you?
but
Yeah. I think you've been around long enough. You've probably done at least everything once.
Right.
I'll get my
Chris,
eyes.
you don't take any more queens, or you just get them?
I haven't. Not in a long time. It's the fat fingers. That's the problem.
Don't put the whole finger in the cell.
And then it's set in a hole over here for the, if you did it wrong, other half of the hole.
Oh, and I'm getting double vision. Knew there was a reason why I stopped. I just stabbed that one.
Yeah, if you mess one up, get another one. There's plenty.
Right?
She's laying 1,500 eggs a day.
And the beads all going and fix all that broken.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
First guy really wanted to. And the keeper, he said, oh, good, take it.
You don't even get it
He used to look at me kind of what?
See it in there.
He said,
Well, we're gonna say I did.
Now, what's the reason you want to get one about that size, half?
You want them as close to 1 day old as possible. Young. Younger the better.
So do you ever get them when they're just like
An egg.
a stick?
And they need to hatch.
Well, the egg is what looks like the stick. Okay. Then they hatch.
So they're
Yeah.
actually 4 days old.
These are 4 days old?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you get
They were
your
laid
egg
3
for
days
3
ago.
days,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
hatches,
Yeah.
Okay.
and it turns into that. And that's when
Yeah.
they give it the royal jelly.
Yeah.
So they give it to
Oh.
the royal jelly now?
Mhm.
What do they get for
Yeah.
the first 3 days?
Nothing. They're in the egg.
So,
Not
okay.
till they
They're in the egg.
That might actually have been my best one.
There you go. If you look at that calendar, it starts with the egg, okay? And we're on day 4 here, May 15th. Okay? And that explains the whole life cycle and what we're going to do on the different days. Some of the days aren't as critical as others. Getting the queen cells out into nukes is a critical day. If one of them hatches in there, she'll go and kill all the rest of them. Yeah.
Do you have another one of those? The chemical?
I do. Just give me a minute.
It's also, if you download the one she emailed in the invite, That spreadsheet's, there's a link to that spreadsheet's in the invite as well. If you want to play with it, you can download it and edit it, use it.
I'm not sure I took time. Did you get the email?
Yeah. I didn't see an attachment.
Last month's, sorry.
I put them on both ones.
No? Okay. Yeah, I didn't read this month, sorry.
Oh, okay, thanks. Cool.
Yeah.
So it's all of like June 2nd to June 14th mating flights?
Yeah.
Okay.
She should be out flying around having the time of her life.
Sowing the wild oats.
Yeah. It's a little tough on the drones.
Right.
They die.
And they mate only once.
The drones only mate once. The queen will mate a bunch of times. They argue about how many times, but 8 or 10 at least. Less than that, she won't be a very good queen.
Mm-hmm. Not a good person.
Stab that one again.
And you just shake these into the queen starter box.
Okay, this queen starter box is made up of nurse bees. Okay, so you shake them off of combs like this. Okay, so you need to do it from several hives because the other thing is I've got twice as many bees in there as should be there. Maybe not quite as many this time because I didn't find that many to steal this time. And also it's pretty close to where they came from, so some of them probably flew back. But what I found with this is there's several ways to set up the starter and finish your hives. The way I'm doing it is using the same hive for both. And for the first round, it doesn't work as well because they haven't figured out what they're doing quite yet. Okay. The people who do it commercially will have what they call a starter hive, and they'll put it in there for about 3 days till it's drawn out a little bit. And then they'll use a queen right finisher hive. Okay. And then they'll start over again doing this. But they'll do thousands of them. The other thing they'll do is they'll separate out a frame. Okay. And they'll put a divider in it's basically made out of a queen excluder. Then they'll put a frame there, and then they'll put another one in there. And put the queen in there with an empty frame the day before they want to graft. 2 days before 4 days before they want to graft. Get the dates right. That way, she'll lay all over that one, and then 4 days later, you pull it out, and it's got day-old larvae all over it. Okay, it makes them easier to find. And they're doing thousands
they'll
of
actually
them.
do is they use special small frames, and they will after they graft they wash them. They wash all the larvae out.
Yeah.
And start over on the next cycle. They don't leave it to hatch or finish growing. They just wash it.
Yep, they're just making queens.
Well, no wonder why the population is going down.
Yeah, well, they're making queens, and the queens make a lot of bees. So, yeah, it's probably a fair trade-off. Okay, so now that we've got them all on there.
Oh, I never initialed my frame. It'd be the one without all the initials on it.
Uh-oh. Lost it.
There was a missing cup on the one that I was working on.
Okay, yeah, it must have fallen off then first. All right. So what, just put a CH on all of them?
Sure. Or just on the stick, because I think I was the only one who did that stick.
Yep. You are. Okay.
So they just basically put a new drawn but unpopulated frame, like what, right into the brood box? Or right into the brood?
What's this frame?
This frame. Yeah.
This will go into the cell builder that won't have any brood. Or will
But
it?
no.
cat brood.
It's got some brood, cat
You're
brood.
talking about
When-
Cat brood.
yeah.
To get
cat
her
brood.
to lay, when you're.
So there would be no brood on there like that one is
Right.
in the middle.
Yeah.
And
No.
they would just wash it out, clean it out, and just put
Yeah.
it back
Right.
in there. and let her lay it again.
Right, but like
Yep.
in amongst the brood frames, you
Right,
just
yeah.
put that brand new one
There,
in, and
there
then
actually be
she lays it.
a divider board on each side of that frame,
Yeah.
and they put her in there, so she can only be on that frame.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Just got done washing.
The other thing is, if you put a frame like this in there, they'll start drawing cells out of these too.
Yeah.
Because they're queenless and they're like, ah, what do we do now?
Well,
Okay.
and that's one of those things. Like
Yeah.
you put your package in, you should go back in 2 weeks. Any cells starting, even though you got a laying queen in there, they were so stressed.
Yeah.
They're trying to raise queens, and then your package ends up swarming.
Yeah.
So you want to go through and knock those down if your queens are laying well.
What I've got in that finisher hive is I got an empty frame. I've got a frame of cat brood. Then we're gonna put the queen cells. I got another one of cat brood. And I got an empty. Okay. And I'm only using a 5 frame nuke out there, so you probably want about at least 8 frames of bees in there. Okay, so it's really packed in. It's got a ventilated section on the bottom so that they can stay cool. I put some water in the bottom in a trough, and I got a feeder on the top, and I've got some pollen patty on top too. So the object is to get them to just pull these things out because they're panicked because they don't have a queen, and then we'll go from there. Now, if I was doing the starter builder, I wouldn't put the cat brood in here. I'd just put more nurse bees in. Okay. What this does though is these start to hatch out, and after these have started drawing them out, these will start hatching out, and they'll help fill it out because they'll be brand new nurse bees. Okay. And they'll help take care of the queen cells. Okay. And the second time around, you just put another 1 or 2 of those in, and it'll work better because it's got a lot more bees in it, and they're already used to trying to draw those cells out. They're panicked, but they're in the mode of draw cells, draw cells, draw cells. So usually the first time I run one of these things, I get maybe half of them. Second time, I'll get like most of them. Okay. And there's all kinds of tricks you can do to make it work better, but you know, I don't need that many queens.
Right?
Yeah.
I could use them, but I couldn't even produce enough to keep up with what our demand is.
Well, and it's kind of a big deal because you start looking at how much work you have to do this, how many bees you've got to have to start with to set it up. Okay, you got to have all these nurse bees coming from somewhere. Okay, you start rubbing all your hives for nurse bees, then you're not going to get a whole lot of honey that year out of them. Okay, so what I usually
You pick and choose what you're going for. You're
Right.
going to raise your own bees, or you're going to produce honey.
Yeah. If I have 8 or 10 hives, and I can set one of these up, and it doesn't cost me that much honey. If it's less than that, then you probably don't want to do this. You want to do walk-away splits or something like that, or buy queens. I'd rather raise queens because I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah, and there's lots of ways to do that too. This is just one way. And he talked about walk-away splits earlier. That's another way to do it. There's different ways where you can force them to build cells, and you just grab them and you put them in another hive. Things like that. There's lots of ways to do it. Okay. Questions?
They're not sealed in that box, there's an opening they can come in and out of.
Yeah, it's not very big. The first time I did it, the guy said just keep the box closed up, and that did work. But every time, I mean, you have to really feed it and make sure they're not running out of
They sucked out a
anything.
bit of syrup today, though. I noticed they
Yeah.
must have taken down 1.5 inches.
Yeah, it's only these two right now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I brought another bottle because I didn't know how much they would take. But anyway, they should be pretty much happy inside the box. They'll be flying around a bit. One time I had a queen just kind of fly into there from somewhere, and that was the end of that. Yeah, I looked in there and they were fine. They're all like mostly drawn out, and then I went to look at them again the next time to check them, and they're all like all gone. Yeah, so there's all kinds of things that can go wrong.
So what's your next stages now, if you go off your chart there?
Okay, the next stage is in 2 to 3 days. I'll go out there and look and see how many are being drawn out. If they're being drawn out, if there's something wrong and they're not getting drawn out, you can do it again. Okay, but if some of them are being drawn out, then you just wait. You go down the list here, check them like Saturday or Sunday probably. I'll probably come down Sunday. And then on Tuesday, they should be capped, okay? So you look at them, it's like, did they get capped? Or did something come in and tear them down or whatever?
Like Tuesday they're already gonna be capped?
Yeah. Yeah, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday.
Today's Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty quick. If they're almost capped, I mean, they might be delayed a little bit, but usually not. They're usually capped. And then you just don't mess with them. Just leave them alone.
The cap Tuesday.
Yeah.
And a hatch on Saturday? Following Saturday?
Mood caps on Saturday. Next Tuesday they should hatch after that, 16th. Yeah. But queens come out a lot faster than regular bees do, which is kind of amazing because they're a lot bigger.
A lot more going on.
A lot more involved, but they're getting fed special stuff. So yeah.
And how are you gonna keep them all separate so they don't fight or to death or?
Well, you put them. They better have their own,
before then.
better have their own hive. So on that day, on on 24th Saturday, I've got moved cap queen cells and mating newts. Okay, that's like 2 or 3 days before they should hatch. Okay, so they got their own newt to hatch in then. And then they won't fight because they won't hatch in the same place. If one of these hatches first, or if they raise another queen a little bit quicker off of one of these combs here, I'll check these two again, make sure they haven't created a queen cell on there. And the first one out will kill the rest of them. It's like the real world. Female is the deadliest of the species.
So do you want some club members to come up and grab queens if we have things split out, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I'll bring some nukes out here.
I got
Mating
15
nukes.
and queens.
Well, there you go. Okay.
What's that?
It's like I got 15 nukes and need queens in
Okay. Well, on Saturday, the 24th of May, I will be here. Okay.
Love, I wonder
Yes.
if we should let her know.
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah.
Are growing?
Yeah, I'll tell you about each one of these. Okay, you can
Yes.
send it out in the club.
You can put it on the Facebook page.
See how they go. Yeah.
Take a picture, try to get all the initials by the cell cups.
Yeah.
For those
You can
people
come up
that
here
are
and
on Facebook?
get your queen.
Well, then they should catch up with the times.
Nope, there's gonna be no catching up on those times.
Facebook is obsolete now. Everybody does Discord.
I don't know what that is.
I've been on this one for about 15 years, so.
Love?
Yes.
Sorry. Are you gonna cover that?
Am I gonna cover this? Yes, I can cover this probably. It's not as critical now. These will be okay. I want them to, especially not let the royal jelly dry out for these. Okay, I'm gonna go out there in the rain and get myself stung to crap.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
Somebody should videotape that.
Yeah.
From a distance.
Yeah, it's coming down good out there.
They ain't
I
coming
can
out
hear
too
it,
far.
yeah.
It'd be better to grab the nuke and come into the back and do it.
Yeah, those bees are pretty mad too.